Is my lighting okay? Is it too dark?
It's very dark, but should be good.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm playing the intro now.
If you can hear the sound of my voice, if you can hear my voice, you're hearing my voice. If you can hear my voice, if you can hear the sound of my voice. Oh no, I like it like this. I like the mood. LSD. You're on the Lonely Screen Delicatessen channel. It's very, very romantic. Our two dick next to a candle.
And here we are. We're live.
Oh, we're live. Well, if you can hear the sound of my voice, then once again, after a long break, you are on LSD. I am here with the Pinoy Boy Toy after a long, long break in this new pandy world. And we are back to catch up on just life and apparently liberty, financial revolution, the new president who's going to fix everything, and it also has signed like 50 executive orders in the first week or whatever. I'm not seeing all the scrutiny that I was expecting.
This is my problem. Like all the people that were, like you said, I'm not seeing the scrutiny because like when Trump was like fuck guns and I didn't know about it, and you're like, oh yeah, he made some laws. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, he fucked up some. He did some wrong shit. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like people in our perspective who don't like favor one side or the other, like
Sure.
you can see like, oh okay, yeah, like both sides fuck up. I mean, they're all humans still, you know. And now
Well, people with that,
like this new guy's just been like, oh yeah, no, it's right back to business.
yeah, back to business, back to business, crony shit, real true crony capitalism. That's what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But the issue too is that our mindset, people of like mind. I can name a bunch of friends who have equal disdain for either side of the aisle.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're not super vocal people. They're people who are doing shit. They're people who are entrepreneurial. They're people who are building themselves because they don't have faith in the constructs that are around them.
Yeah.
So those cats aren't on the internet lamenting one way or the other. They're not Q people. They're not Trump is Hitler people. They're fucking hustles. They're hustlers. They're working. You know what I mean? So like amongst our friend groups, I think that's the most of the people I see. Some lean one way or another, but the reality is most of these motherfuckers are just hustling. And the guys that preach and preach and preach, honestly, what I'm seeing now is they're becoming more and more marginal, in my opinion, because they're not doing the shit that they said, and they're not complaining. So it's like, what is it now?
That's what
BLM,
yeah.
The BLM thing about how fucking Biden has still not answered them, because I'm not a BLM guy, but I am for the idea of personal cultural sovereignty and the right to have it, okay?
Well,
because I don't agree with the Marxist stuff from the BLM group, but I believe in the idea of black pride.
Well, I'm of the idea if you ask a group for help to win an election and they help, like overwhelmingly help you,
they show the fuck up.
You should give them what you promised them. Like Trump or not,
as we've learned in politics, that's a rare experience.
Here's the thing, though, like that was like their main support structure, right? And
sure.
And that was
it was a big chunk of it. It was a big chunk of it. But you had a lot of other groups. That were not voting for Joe Biden. They were voting against Donald Trump. That was a big thing. And you had a lot of groups that previously were voting for Donald Trump that voted against him because of fear from Corona. But also, listen,
what I'm saying,
you know me, dude. I'm not on the Trump hate thing, but go ahead.
I'm saying historically, like Trump, rewarded the people that invested in his campaigns the most, right? With like
but the way he did it
Obama
was very blatantly in comparison to the way politicians usually do.
Both of the like the last two, like Obama literally was his whole campaign was funded by the medical insurance industry, and then all of a sudden you have to have it, it's mandatory.
Sure.
So like that was the thing that he did, and then Trump was like obvious about the people he's like, oh, if Obama can just give his people billions of dollars, fuck it, all my guys get all the contracts now, and then like now, but see, here's my question.
But that's what they all have done over. Like I don't understand. I think like it's Tim Dillon's. But Tim Dillon said something really interesting.
What I'm saying is I don't mind them doing that because like if you guys get me elected, I'll give you kickbacks, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, I understand. Like, because that's how the system worked. Like Biden didn't he hasn't yet. Like literally with Trump and Obama, it was like first day shit. They're like, all right, got to pay back the debt first, right? And
But
then
listen,
like now Biden's like, well, I mean, BLM helped us to get like 40% of the votes that we got, but fuck them.
the reason is because that organization doesn't support what BLM is about. They don't give a fuck. And guess what else? Black Lives Matter doesn't bring a big enough check to the table. That's all it comes down to. They don't have the dividends to buy that favor.
But the problem is, like, the biggest people that supported his campaign were like the DNC. It was like the straight up Democratic Party. So like, what is he doing? I'm not saying to like help them, but like that he's not helping them. But like,
well, you can see what he's doing.
Yeah.
But you can see what he's doing. He's signing shit for hedge fund managers. He's signing shit for the banks. That's what he's doing. He's doing the same shit that the Clintons did.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about.
It's just back to the bullshit.
Like literally, here we have people that bitched about Obama for years, saying that he was a Muslim terrorist, and that we're like super Trumpers, and all the never Trumpers and not my president, me too, Black Lives Matter people, right? Super against Trump. Now we're here in a situation where the people, like everybody, like crossing party lines, even some of like the politicians that are on the far left and right are coming together to support the people taking down the hedge fund managers and the billionaires of the nation.
Yeah, and you've got this administration signing legislation to save them yet again.
Did they do that? I've just kind of checked out.
This is what I've heard. That there have been moves made to protect these assets because they essentially invest in these. Listen, every
he should be. So then that's what I said. Like you saw, I posted like this, right? About this. If he comes out in support of that, then he is like worse than any president before him, like, and all the other presidents combined, because this is literally the equivalent to us fighting the Revolutionary War, right? And we win, and then George Washington's like, those British, they're not bad guys. Maybe we should give them some money.
Let's bring them to the table. No, well, listen. So, here's the thing, though.
People are just quiet.
Well, of course they're quiet because they feel like they want. Like, listen, everybody doesn't want to be right. They want to feel right.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes being right sucks. Sometimes getting an honest answer is awful. Okay? Sometimes reality is tart. And the issue is that everybody's been sipping Kool-Aid for so long, they can't handle a bitter fruit. That's what we're fucking looking at here. We don't realize that every one of these presidential cabinets is a fucking organization. Yeah. It's a company, each and every one. And what they're doing is they're investing in who they think is going to be able to put money in their pockets down the line. They create relationships. All of these guys from these offices end up in these fucking firms with these multi-million-dollar jobs as consultants. It happens across the board over and over and over again, every fucking party, okay? Outside of like Green Party and fucking crazy-ass libertarians who are like, I want to smoke dope and fire rocket launchers, okay? Yeah. Fucking... And we're sitting here acting like that's the thing that I had the problem with. Listen, I don't think Trump was a good president, and I don't give a fuck who thinks Biden was. I don't think Biden's going to be a good one. I don't think Obama was a good one. I think what all these people do is fucking line their pockets with our money. Yeah. They found a really awesome racket. It's the biggest mafia in the world outside of the fucking Catholic Church and the Chinese government. Yeah. Okay? And Russia's nipping at our heels fucking in fourth place. Okay? But that's the thing that we don't fucking recognize over and over again, that these guys all eat at the same table while we're out here fighting over if fucking KFC or Taco Bell is going to win the election. It's all a fucking shell game. And I'm just so saddened because what I see is that the general level of understanding has dropped so low that we are literally rooting for red or blue like fucking apes. Dude. It's over. It's falling. It's done. It's over. This is the fall of Rome. We're highly sexualized, selling garbage constantly. Yeah. It's over. It's literally, we literally have bread and a circus. Isn't that what the fucking Nero said? Yeah. Give them bread and fucking circus? Like, that's all we need. We can get a $5 pizza at Little Caesars, okay? Yeah. What is that, like 5,000 calories? You can grab 5,000 calories for fucking 5 bones. Okay, a fucking 2 liter of fucking Mountain Dew for fucking all the sugar you need in the goddamn week. You can drink it in that night, and we'll sit there paying $12.99 a month for our Netflix, and we'll watch what they give us, and we'll do what they tell us as long as the air conditioning stays on, and I got my Game Pass on my Xbox. And guess what? I'm guilty of all those fucking little lavish fucking accoutrements just as every other asshole, but I'm not going to sit here and play the game and act like my fucking iPhone didn't get built by some sad slave kid, bro.
Yeah,
like,
with suicide nets on his build.
It's just a fucking joke, and we sit here and I say we, our whole fucking generation, from our parents trickling on down to the people who are just a bit older than our children, like that fucking whatever, that 30-year fucking 40-year gap, we suck. We don't do shit. We're a fucking generation, like several generations of consumers. That's what we do. We eat. We're cattle, bro.
You know what?
I'm disgusted by humanity. I'm sorry. I missed you, bro.
I miss you too, Fred. And like, it's really cool that we talk like this, because it always reminds me. Your rants always remind me of something. And like, have you seen that movie from the '70s, Network?
Mm-mm.
Dude, it's the most accurate depiction of how the media works and how the government works together.
Really?
And it's from the '70s.
In horrific collusion, yeah.
Yeah, and it's from the '70s, and it's crazy. And like, there's this, and it's this guy that's actually, he gets big on the TV, like as a newscaster, by like mentally breaking down, like, and talking about exactly what you're talking about. But he's older, and he's just like,
I feel like that's like I want to call it a stepdad special, where like somebody was like, you gotta watch this, and I didn't like the guy, so the movie, I think I might have seen that before.
It's old, man.
Yeah.
Old now.
Sure.
For now, because that's like 50 years ago now.
Sure.
Remember?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
The 70s was like 30 years ago, or like 20 years ago. Remember?
Yeah,
that?
bro.
When the 70s was 20 years ago.
Yeah, when we were kids, when we were preteens and teens or whatever. Well, you know what it is, man. It's over.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, look, we live in a group, especially our friend group and everything. It's a lot of artists, man. It's a lot of really talented people. And from what I've seen, like, talent can stifle you.
Yeah.
Talent can stifle you. Talent can lock you into a thing and fuck you up because you don't have to work as hard for certain shit. And I've learned that from being a little bit talented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then doing other things where I'm not talented but really wanting to succeed in them and having to fucking really knuckle down and dig heels in. I wasn't like a talented boxer or kickboxer. I was a diligent one, and I was an animal.
Yeah.
Like, that was my best.
Yeah.
And that even worked. I was just like a dog. I was gonna stay in it. I wanted to fight. Like, but when it comes to music, right? Like, I didn't have to work to do what I do. I didn't have to learn an instrument. I just had a natural ability that I was almost like ashamed or scared of because of the world I was living in prior to coming into the music world. You know what I mean? So like, but talent, look around us. Look at a group of Florida, South Florida, is one of the deepest talent pools that's like unsung musically and artistically, I believe, in the country. Because Florida's so crazy, everything gets a bad rap. But you could go to I could go through my friends list on Facebook and pick 20 in a second great acts that if you were in town on any weekend you could catch. And going down from like Spread to like Reggae Lou to like so many others, dude, Massacre to the Sons of a Tradesman, like all these fucking guys, Killbillies, like there's so many like No Name Ska Band, like that it's like an event. If you go see them, you're gonna have like an experience.
The Mountain Wizards,
dude, like there are so many groups that are an experience. So many, and even like little acoustic folks who just do like that are tremendous. I've never been anywhere like that, where it's like that many, where it's that deep, right? Mm-hmm. And then also at the same time, we're living in a different place because we have that.
Yeah.
Like mentally, you're living in a different place when you know you can do that and make ends meet if you have to.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the few reasons.
That fucks up your perspective, I think.
That's actually one of the big reasons, not one of the few reasons, one of the big reasons why I stay here, because like I've literally lived all over the country and I've been all over the world, and I haven't lived in a place or been to a place where there's so much concentrated talent that isn't.
It's deep. It's deep water. It's deep.
Like the average musician here, like the average chode that goes into Guitar Center every week, right, is better than the guys that are making a living playing music in like every other state.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing, you know?
Well, like, and how many
Everybody's
guys
good on, like
I
on
could,
all the instruments, you know?
yeah, yes, and I could rattle off right now, including myself, 3 ape like fucking songbirds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where is that? Where is that? Where do you get me,
Yeah.
Mike Morrison, guys like Luke Pinnell, who are like fucking really tremendous singer-songwriter, who now has become like a woodsmith, like a badass woodworker? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, where do you have that?
They're
Where do you have that?
self-sustained.
All coming out of the same spot. All coming out of the same little spot.
Dude, South Florida.
It's a weird little vortex.
Well, we're like we have been
And not even all of South Florida, bro. Not even all of South Florida. From the northern tip of Fort Lauderdale,
yeah,
to the southern tip of Port St. Lucie, that's the pocket. That's the
pocket.
fucking pocket. Okay, I don't care what anybody like.
And people know that is the thing because we're the largest growing county right now in the nation. 900, almost 1,000 people every day are permanently moving to Palm Beach County.
I really truly feel coming out of that zone that my perspective is fucked up because I'm like jaded and spoiled.
Everything's small.
You can go to a normal bar, but you can go to any kind of little bar and find a murderer on stage or on what's passing for a stage, and they're like humbly playing a show that's like rinky-dink, but they're like a fucking talent level like that is beyond 10. And then I'm out here in Atlanta, where Atlanta's supposed to have this really vibrant scene, but it's really kind of like monochromatic. It's not got the layers. It's not got the same layers.
It's incestual and
there's guys in our scene that are in a couple of bands that the genres are different, and each band is one of the best in their genre. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Literally, like, there's many examples of that.
Yeah, in our little pocket, in our little scene.
And if you even go even smaller, it's like just in Lake Worth, which is crazy.
But where do you have a place where the guy who's going to throw you on your head out of the bar, like Uncle Phil does to fucking Jazzy Jeff every episode, right? Yeah. And then he can sing your ass to sleep after he knocks you the fuck out.
Yeah. And we'll do it. And
it's a weird pocket, bro. It's a special, magical little place.
Well, like,
it really is.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know why it is. I mean, I think I do know.
But that's why I think we have so many weird views, and then in our friend group we have so many people who are riding that weird middle line.
Well, we're like a self-sustaining ecosystem. Like, if
a creative ecosystem.
Well, I mean, like, no, like in every single way. Like, like 80% of Florida's economy is from Port St. Lucie south on the East Coast.
I was also proud to see how many people in our group. Well, it's not that shocking though, because once you start driving, like I take that drive often. There's not a fucking lot. There's not a lot between Port St. Lucie and like after Orlando. Yeah. There's like nothing after Port St. Lucie, then Orlando, then from Orlando to Jacksonville, there ain't shit really like. Yep. And there's nice spots. I like St. Augustine and Flagler and shit, but they're small towns. But anyway. Yeah. No, I feel really spoiled and jaded, and I feel like my perspective is skewed. Yeah. Because I can live in that little world. You know what I mean? And even being here in Atlanta, I go back often enough to where it's like, oh yeah, like this is a weird little. Well, there's a weird little. It's unique. It's completely unique to where like you can walk down that one fucking block in Lake Worth on the Ave, and literally that night see the best DJ in town. You could see the best fucking vocalists in like around. You can see the best bands around. Like you really see like a really crazy eclectic group of talented people. And then on top of it, like there's a lot of guys who do comedy out of our neck of the woods nowadays that are coming up. Like I've been watching a couple of guys specifically that like are in our little scene who are like getting up there and getting on and like actually doing well in these open mics.
From Vero.
Port St. Lucie, shit, yeah.
Port St. Lucie.
Sebastian or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he like went to high school in one of these.
Yeah, I think
for like a year down here.
I think he finished high school there and then went to college in Florida. Yeah, I think he was like an Ohio kid or some shit, from like Midwest or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, still like all of his. Jokes,
but no,
like,
he developed some formative years here, yeah.
Well,
or home. Right.
There's one joke where he's talking about like what we're talking about, how South Florida is. He's like, you can do this one day. And then he's like naming cities, and then he's like, and then you can see a dead body in Lake Worth, and then in the same night, like see like the greatest show you've ever seen. He's like, Florida's a fucked up place.
It's a weird place.
Yeah.
We used to play this bar called the Duke. It was like where it's like Dixie, where like Dixie and Federal touch. You know what I mean? Where it has that little peak.
Yeah.
And
it's like the gas station / Well, I mean,
Yeah, the gas station's
like
on the front of it, and then it's a liquor store, and then the bar.
Yeah, country.
It's like a weird triangle. And then like what Duke used to, the Duke, I don't know if it's still owned by the same guy, this guy named Steven, and he was like this big, fucking gigantic old guy. He was really cool. And his wife and him used to just be hanging out having cocktails. And they used to host the Outlaw motorcycle gang. They would do like their fucking annual shindig, like one of their annual shindigs there. Yeah. And they used to book us. So the guy at the Duke told them, like, because we used to just randomly play there. We did a lot of classic rock covers and shit in FLA. That was like our bill paying gig, you know what I mean? Those classic rock cover gigs. And those are the motherfuckers that tip too. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking those boomers tip. But anyway, we would go play that joint. They liked us. They told these guys about us. We did a couple of shows there. And it was, again, a weird, like, nowhere else are you going to be with a bunch of like Vietnam vet old school bikers who are like fucking banging meth in the bathroom and fucking jamming out, serving people these outlaw milkshakes, these fucking liquored up fucking sugary ass fucking. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. It was one of those fucking experiences that you could only have like in that pocket in Florida, that weird little pocket.
In the location where you're talking about too, that's like a small town, like area, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like that. So what is that like? North of Lantana or south of Lantana?
Yeah, it's north of Lantana. It's like where. At the edge of like Lake Worth and like.
But it's before Lake Worth, yeah. It's like in that little weird like unincorporated zone.
Like any other place, that's like a small town vibe where that's not going to happen, right?
Sure.
So basically, like what I'm getting at is, so after living here for a couple years, I went back to Colorado to visit my mom and my brother, and like, I went out and I went around, and like, even though like it's really densely populated, like it is here, right? And the layout's similar and things are the same. It still felt smaller than here, and like I knew where I was going. I knew where I was in Colorado. I wasn't like, oh, things change. I was like, oh, everything's pretty much the same.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But I didn't realize how like small town it was when I was there. Like, I had just lived there for so long, I got used to it.
Sure.
And then like, that's what I'm saying. Even like the small town stuff here is bigger.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's not because you live here. It just is.
Yeah. Yes.
It's weird.
Well, and this, it's flavored like nowhere else. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, as I'm like listening to people discuss things in the political climate, and then like matching that up with what's in the news and what's in my own feed, and then what I'm surrounded by here in like suburban, northwestern Atlanta, like the suburbs above northwestern Atlanta. Like, it's unlike what's really going on everywhere else. So like when I juxtapose those things, like it's so interesting to see the difference where we are coming from the perspective in our like particular group of people, that not even our friend group, but like the Venn diagram of our friend group, like where there's like all these different little circles that circulate out all into the art and music scene, everybody that we like, that we know and they know and they know. It's really unique in its way of thought, because the most vocal people are the most loony and liberal and extreme on each side, but they're like a really small, like, as I look at it and I disseminate those voices and like filter them out, it's very easy to see how many people are of like very balanced mentality. So I was really nervous going into this year with all the zealotry that we've been hearing over the past 4 years on either side, and then all this shit going on with the pandemic. But then I see like how our community has like reacted, and then how much they've helped each other, how many people have like posted for people's stuff and supported each other's endeavors. It's been so awesome, and it's been beautiful and so resilient in our own little group. I don't think the rest of the country is necessarily having that experience.
Maybe Texas, but
well, maybe there's other pockets like that, but I don't think that's the general way that
like
things
Texas
are going.
Is talking about like red and blue, like leaving America, like.
Yeah.
Like the people.
It's broken. It's so broken.
Yeah, the people that moved from California that are trying to turn Texas blue, and the people that have lived in Texas for generations that are super red are banding together and want to leave America.
That's crazy,
and
huh?
I'm just like, take Florida with you. Like we're the only two good states. Like,
well, if you adopted everything in between that whole coastline, from Louisiana down,
probably like Civil War II, like.
Dude, you take that all the way down across Florida. If Georgia wants to jump in, they can. Georgia could be utopian,
Georgia is,
but it's so divided.
Different.
It's so divided.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like, is the porch light on or off? That's all. It's like that's the difference because nobody's acting different, nobody's living different. Yeah. It's blue, it's red, it's blue. It's the same assholes everywhere. There's still Cabela's selling fucking every gun. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
I was actually
this is still it's interesting.
Happy to see in our friend group, like you said, when this whole stock market thing happened, like the revolution, as I was calling it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them were like, "Yeah, no, I don't care." Like everybody, like fuck these guys, right?
Fuck this shit up, yeah.
Yeah. And then I noticed the people that were the loudest didn't comment on it or kind of thought it was a joke.
I've noticed people in the martial arts community have gotten really gung-ho about this. It's very interesting. There's a weird crossover for specifically like jiu-jitsu.
Talking about our friend group when like identifying the crazy people, and that's I made a post about that too. It's like if somebody was like a nut during the last like 12 years, like on your Facebook feed, and now all of a sudden there's a real chance for a real revolution to happen,
and they don't know what the fuck. Yeah.
They're not doing anything. It's like, no, fuck those guys. Those aren't your friends. Those are
just button pushers.
Yeah, those
hustlers.
Want to make a
hysteria hustlers.
Yeah, those people just jump on whatever the news tells them, and eventually, when the news says we're all financial terrorists, that's what they'll say.
Yeah. Well, and then as well, like I said, like in let's say like the jiu-jitsu community or the kickboxing, whatever, the martial arts community is very interesting to me too. That there's like a big crossover in like the techie kind of world too. Like I notice a lot of those guys that are high level martial artists are either like big into vehicles or big into guns or big into computers, like shit you can take apart, shit you can get your hands into, right? And I've noticed those guys also have taken a particular interest in this because this is like math. You know what I mean? This is like baking, it's chemistry. It's like there's a formula. And so looking at the formula, they're like, oh, I can break this code. Like, and I'm loving seeing that spark has been gone these past couple of years because everybody's been so divisively going at each other. And that's why I think you're not going to see any political organization get behind it because they like the divisiveness. That's why gay marriage and abortion and gun rights are always hot button issues because those are the ones that they push forward to busy their constituencies with bullshit so that they can fucking focus on robbing everybody constantly and taking more fucking liberties with our tax money. That's really the fucking issue as I see it. And if we could all get on page and just be like, yo, leave gay people to do what the fuck they want to do. Let people buy what guns they want to buy. Smoke what the fuck you want to smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to abort your kid? Do it. You don't want to abort your kid? Don't do it. Like, that's the simplest fucking answer. If we could all get on page with that and then go, okay, let's do some fucking audits.
Yeah.
Let's do some fucking accounting here and see exactly what is going on. I'd like to know if we spend $700 billion in defense? Isn't that our budget? 700.
We had that guy. Well, we have that guy.
Who? Ross Perot?
No, I mean Ross Perot. We had him. Yeah. I mean,
Ross Perot. I would vote for Ross Perot in a goddamn heartbeat.
Hell yeah.
No, Joey Diaz quoted him so good, where he was like, at the end of the debates, he'd be like, "America, I want to just tell you one thing. They're paying for their run with your money. I'm paying for my run with my money."
That's like a Trump thing.
But that's the fucking look. Listen, here's the difference between Ross Perot and Donald Trump, though.
Yeah.
Ross Perot is a self-made man, 100% from scratch, bottom of for a fucking little like tumbleweed kicking fucking dust bunny to fucking billionaire to 2 billion back in like the late 80s, early 80s. That's fucking like 80 billion now or whatever the fuck. No, okay, like and Trump got a fat fucking loan from Daddy. It's just a different animal.
So,
and that's the thing.
I mean, what they're saying though is like
but that's the thing I can't stand when you try and say somebody did something good or something bad, where and they automatically try and lump you in as a this or that, a Trump lover or a Trump hater. Because again, I was no fan of Trump. I don't think he was a friend to the Second Amendment. And I think that's going directly against one of the core values of conservatism, to have your own to have your own sovereignty physically in regards to your safety. And look, I live in a spot where I could have like up to 15 to 20 minute response time for police. That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. The county next to me or the township next to me, to buy a home, you have to be a registered gun owner. Because they're in the days when that town was developed, though, there was way less police presence. You know what I mean? So I'm lucky I have a firehouse right near my neighborhood, like literally like the next street over, but there's no police station right around me. It's like a good few. It's going to be at least a 5 to 15 minute response time, depending on what's going on. So it's
You know
me
crazy that now
and my wife and my kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so what do? You make sure the wife knows how to shoot, and you got a code word so you don't get capped when you're walking in the room.
Yep.
Fucking.
It's funny that you mentioned like response time and the police and stuff because like to give people perspective on like how big that area of Florida that you talked about is, like how densely populated and what the need is, like so there's 2 counties in the whole United States where the SWAT team's standard issue firearm is a Desert Eagle.
Sure.
And that's LA County and Palm Beach County, and it's because they have similar population density to
Desert Eagle, really?
Yeah, similar.
You sure it's not a 45, like a bigger pistol, but not that?
Only
that's like an expensive round to outfit so many cops with.
Well, the SWAT, just the SWAT team.
Oh, SWAT? Okay. I thought SWATs usually were rocking those like 45 caliber fucking TMP, like little assault jammies, fucking 45 caliber.
I said just their standard issue handgun.
Their sidearm.
Yeah, their
I thought it was like a 45.
Is a Desert Eagle, and I've seen some of them rock my gun too, the Smith and Wesson 50 cal, because they're like, I want to make sure they're dead, and I'm like,
see, I'm not even like a crazy gun guy. I'm really utilitarian in my view.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like it was a population density to crime ratio. We are at the same level as Los Angeles County, and they have more people.
Yeah, I can see
in that county, but like.
Florida's buzzing, bro. We got action.
Coming up on them.
And here's the thing, too.
This county.
There's a culture. It's like Louisiana, people drink in the street. It's a culture. There's a thing that, like, when I was living in Texas.
Like the Hannibal Buress stand-up. He's talking about his friend throwing his friend a bachelor party.
I don't remember that one.
Oh.
But Hannibal's funny as shit, so definitely we'll catch that. But it's like, no, I heard a story one time. Well, I heard one time a guy, like, in Texas who was like, yeah, like, a lot of people were coming in from Katrina at that point in time, and there were like little areas and neighborhoods where the cops were like letting it slide because like, man, these people are all from Louisiana. Like, they don't like you're gonna have to tell every motherfucking buddy like, hey man, where are you from? I'm from fucking Baton Rouge. I'm from here. It's like, all right, listen, you can't drink in the street here. Like, oh shit, what? Like, I've never been out of my fucking home state, so I have no goddamn clue. Like, and so you had a ton of that in Texas at the time, and it's the same thing with Florida. We live in a state, specifically that pocket. If you're smoking a joint and you're walking down the street and a cop drives by you, like, he's probably not going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
There's, like, real crimes going on. Like, he's got to deal with. You know what I mean? On the low end, there's people ODing down the street. On the low end, let alone, like, violent crimes and shit going on. Like, so.
I told you I got pulled over in Riviera when my dad lived there because I had a tail light out. And, like, the dude was checking my license and registration. And, like, all of a sudden on his radio, you just hear, like, gunshot, 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 somebody screaming. And they're like, need backup. And he just hands me my shit, and he's like, get your shit fixed. And I was like, okay, thank you, bye. And my dad and I went to AutoZone. I was literally like 2 streets away from his house.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Like,
that is hilarious.
So, like, and the other thing is, too, I don't think in any other part of the nation, honestly, like, you can just be riding down the street, and, like, the car in front of you smells like they have, like, pounds of weed in their car. Like, the windows are rolled up, they're not smoking inside. It just smells like they've got.
It smells like they ran over a skunk.
Yeah, they have bales of, or it smells like really good, really, really good. You know.
Yeah, I mean that shit does smell good.
You're just like, oh.
A skunk in the distance makes you go like, wait, what? Am I passing a weed field? Like fucking
It smells like there's like plantations of.
Of nice. A good old American fucking. Oh, Mario,
Hey. Like, if literally in any other part of the nation, I know, if a car went down the street and smelled like that, like cops just surrounding it.
Yeah. Oh, sure, for sure.
I like roll up.
Again, there's a culture.
Yeah, I roll up to that car.
Miami's the city that cocaine built.
And then the cop rolls up to the car on the other side, and then the guys roll down the window, and they're just like, hey.
Do you know how much of the Miami skyline has been directly funded by drugs, like by fucking cocaine in the fucking 70s and 80s? Do you know how much of, like, when you're driving in downtown Miami, okay, there's sections of the highway that are like weirdly concrete and not asphalt. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, and you're going over these like weird partitions. It's like a puzzle piece looking highway almost. And he's like, dugga 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 smooth, dugga 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 smooth. Weirdly smooth, dugga dugga dugga, and it's like there's no almost grip. Like you feel like you can slide around. It's those real narrow pieces of highway that your fucking like Cuban pop would just drive through fucking 90 miles an hour when I'd be scared to go at 60.
The one spot on 6th Avenue overpass on Lake Worth, yeah.
That's because somebody, I forget the exact person, but somebody's family member had a fucking concrete fucking business, concrete plant. And fucking some politician was like, hey, my brother won the contract. What do you want me to say? He did it the cheapest. So this shitty section of I-95 is all made out of smooth fucking concrete that fucking Hulk Hogan's son slid off of and fucking flew off the fucking highway. Fucking, I've been on that so many times and watched people launch. Yeah, way before Golden Glades, like down by the roads almost, down right from like Key Biscayne up all the fucking way. There's a bunch of concrete.
Side note, I don't know what happened to this band. They were called Golden Glades, and they're from Golden Glades. A two-piece band that sounds like ISIS but better. I don't know, but they were like 40 years old like 5 years ago, so I don't know where they are now. Actually, we got people commenting. Your brother.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
Said, to be fair, it lasts forever compared to asphalt.
It just gets so smooth.
Yeah. Dude,
I never slipped on asphalt. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. I mean, if you fall on concrete, it feels better. I can tell you that from experience.
Yeah, unless your feet slip straight out from under you, you crack the back of your head. I don't think that feels
good. Dude, well, I mean, even then, I don't know. I'd rather take the solid punch than like hit the ground softer but have stuff embedded in me, like with asphalt. Like
I don't know.
Like
I think in terms of I think in terms of like how long does this injury go? Because I've got a few long-term injuries that they're not a great time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not a great time.
It's so smooth. It's the Kenny G of roadways, your brother said. But well, no, like
all I can hear is fucking what is that fucking alto sax?
Well, no, like I fall like I'm playing hockey like every time, so like I fall correctly, I guess.
Yeah, you break fall.
Yeah, like the worst thing that's happened.
I'm terrible at it.
When I'm
terrible at it.
Yeah,
even
I understand.
As long as I've been doing martial arts, I'm terrible at break falling.
Well, like,
frankly,
the worst thing that's going to happen when I fall,
times, thankfully.
Yeah, the worst thing that's going to happen when I fall is like I'm going to break a rib or all of them, you know, and like.
Isn't that what they say too when you're like if you're on a helicopter or a plane that's going down or a fucking elevator that's going down to
try to land right here,
but to spread your body out so your surface area is larger. So
and like you try to like hit.
It's like
it's
you
really
cover your
weird.
Head, you protect your head.
It's really weird that you want to try to land where your vital organs are, but like.
Well, those are the most protected bits.
Yeah, it's really hard to like get in there with.
Well, I think also too you gotta get all your ribs cracked and then your spine.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying too. Like when
it would be a horrific injury.
I always land right here. Like these ribs and like the bruises I've had from like here to my
down
knee.
My stairs the other night like a goddamn fucking what was that commercial?
I fell too. Like in the last month.
What was that thing where you hit the button and they fucking come?
Life alert.
I'm falling and I can't. Life alert. Yeah. I felt like I got rocked, bro. My shit got rocked. I was going down to my basement and we have a puppy, a new puppy. He's very fun little pain in the ass. We love him. He's fucking a maniac. But my older dog isn't a big fan of him, and the puppy loves the older dog, like wants to be on him all the time. And so when I go to take them out, my older dog sprints down the stairs because the puppy's still like he's wary of especially going downstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to teach him how to come down the stairs, and like I'm making him watch the older dog. You know what I mean? So he can kind of like get a grip of it. And my older dog fucking hates him. So I'm standing on the landing from my like main floor to my basement, which is like a good like 5 or 6 steps, like good steps, like pretty good size of step, like into the basement steps, you know, like cellar size steps. And fucking the little dog's on the top and I'm on the landing and the big dog is like all the way down. So I'm calling Duke. I'm like, Duke, come up. And Duke comes up and he looks at the little dog and the little dog sees Duke and wants to get to him. So I'm wanting him to follow Duke. So Duke sprints down, the little dog makes it to the landing, and I call Duke up again so he can, like, coax the little dog down all the rest of the way. When Duke gets up to the landing, the little fucker jumps on him. Duke, like, fucking, like freaks out. Darts between my legs. I'm wearing a 4XL onesie that fucking is a little too big, so my heels are in it.
Yeah.
Like, the heels of my feet are in it. And fucking because it's colder than shit.
And then you slide on the heels of your feet down, right?
I fucking twist. No.
Oh, no.
I lose my balance. I have shitty knees, so I'm always concerned about fucking up my knees if I'm falling. So I'm always trying to fall, not where I'm engaging my knees. So my dog goes through, and I'm worried about landing on the little fucking dog, on the puppy. So I just turn in a weird way, and all of a sudden, dude, I'm fucking ass over appetite, going down backwards head first.
Oh, no.
So I just brace. I just go like this,
no.
and I land hard as fuck on my arms and shoulders and neck and shit. And I just lay there for a second, and I'm like, oh, that
Let me
sucks.
ask you this.
I was assessing for a minute. I'm like, hurt or injured? Yeah. Where am I right now? Where am I? And for a second, I'm like, okay, I'm also bell rung. Fucking, I'm 320 fucking pounds on a fucking fat day, 305 on a lean one.
Yeah.
And fucking, I ate shit all
Let me ask you this.
And I laid there until the little dog got brave enough to come down the steps and start fucking kissing my face with his little shit-eating mouth. And fucking, I dragged myself up to take them outside. That's what I was going downstairs for in the first place, take them out for a late-night leak. Because the little one's fucking a terrorist. He'll shit under my dining room table if I don't take him outside.
So, let me ask you this. When you fell, because I fell down the stairs in our lapse of doing this as well.
This was the other day. It sucked.
Were you in earshot of your wife?
No, and my wife also sleeps 25 rocks inside a burlap bag at the bottom of the river. So I always think about this.
Did
you tell her having a heart attack? If I start having a heart attack, I know I got to text her quick and be like, my gun is on my right hip. Take it off of me so the kid doesn't grab it. I'm heart attack in the basement. Don't let the kids see the corpse. I got to get that text out because she's not going to wake up from me going, I'm dead. I'm done. I blew my knee one time on a fucking piece of kitty mat, because I tell you, I got shitty knees. So my daughter was a year or something like that. We were still living in Boynton Beach, and our living room was basically just giant rainbow gate, and in the rainbow gate was just all these puzzle foam making this one big matted area when she's learning to walk, so she could just eat shit as much as she needed to, because we had a really big marble tile shit where it was hard as fucking cold and shit. So we sacrificed the living room space for fun room, but there was extra tiles of fucking foam, so there's a couple of them just around, and the dogs like to sit on them and shit sometimes. And one of them was in front of the Xbox. Like a fat fuck, I'm getting off the couch to go put a different game in the Xbox. I step on the fucking thing. The knee goes one way, the rest of my fucking body goes the other way. Brah! My knee blows it sounds like you're deboning a chicken. Oh. And fucking, that was when I got rid of my fucking, your medial collateral, my MCL fucking got all ripped to shreds. No. And fucking, I still didn't fucking get surgery for it. I'm waiting until I can get a whole bionic one like fucking Anakin Skywalker. But fucking, I'm like, ah! And we had a much smaller pad then. It was a townhouse. And I yelled for a half an hour because I could not get up, man. My knee was fucked. My shit ballooned. And then eventually I elbow dragged myself to the couch and did a dip to get up on that bitch, and then sat there for a while. And then she woke up in the morning. She's like, "You didn't come to bed. You play video games all night?" And I was like, I pointed at my knee. It's just this big purple balloon. She's like, "Oh my god!" Fucking. And then she set me up an appointment that I didn't go to because I hate doctors and shit. But anyway, fucking.
So yeah, but if you were, so here's my question though, if she were awake, right, and near the stairs where you fell, would she be like,
I don't hate doctors. I hate going to the doctor. I got lab coats and whatever the fuck they call it. My BP goes to the roof.
Here, if you fell near her, would she be like, "Oh my god, are you okay?"
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
She'd probably be oblivious for half a second. Eva is one of those people who is so smart, she's not always with us.
Gotcha.
She is. My wife is
That's
thinking
what my wife tried
binary
to tell
code
me.
And numbers and shit
Listen.
like that. So Eva might have a stutter step for a second, and then be like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" She might look at me for a second, assessing. She's got that kind of level of analytical mind. But it's interesting too because then you have mothering instinct kicks in and she doesn't hesitate with the kid. I've seen it, you know what I mean? So it's but yeah. And also for me too, she's seen me go down and a couple of times she's been to fights and seen me get hurt, so she knows my threshold.
If she saw you go down and you're like, help, right?
Oh, if I said help, she would know because I don't like getting help, so she would know I'm serious. So, if I said the word help, she'd be like, what happens? She'd be really worried if I said the word help. I'm not good at that word.
So last month, you know my stairs, right? In the townhome, they go around.
Your townhouse is really similar to the way mine was when we were in Boynton. Yeah.
So I apparently like I got that dry Asian skin, and the bottoms of my feet got super
Do you
dry.
get the dry? You got the dry earwax?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
for
feel
real.
like I got a little Asian in me because I got a little bit of that.
But the soles of my feet were like bone dry, right? And I like was trying to go
I
down
know
the steps a
exactly
little
what you're
bit too
talking
quick,
about.
right? And
And did you? Okay, question. Hold on. Did you spend a lot of your childhood barefoot?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Me too. Okay, so
yeah.
that's so you have like the dry,
The
smooth
smooth,
callus.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yes,
just smooth
yes,
on the bottom,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, like a lot
So
of beach walking.
yeah,
Very, yeah.
so I start sliding down on the arches, and I think I get myself at the turn, but I'm like I have speed from the top, and like it's making a bang down the stairs every time I slide from arch to arch because my feet are fucking huge. Yeah, no, but it was like this boom, 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 right? Like I hit the corner and I kept
Yeah.
going. I was
Well,
trying to like
you're lanky too. You're
yeah,
built like a
I was
boxer,
like
so
yeah, I was like trying to
like
like
the
gain
dog
my
breed boxer.
balance.
So I can see
Yeah,
you like fucking
I was
gumbying
like
down.
and then I thought I got
That's
myself
exactly
around the
what I
corner.
was doing until I fucked up and turned, and then I went ass
Yeah,
over appetite.
but I thought I contained myself when I got around the corner, but then it got worse, and then I went down to the tile, and I was just like on my ass, and I was like, help!
Oh
And
my
then
god.
she was awake in the bedroom, and then like I've got my phone in my pocket, right? And then I just feel it buzz, and she gets a text. She's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, and I'm just like, "Help! Help! That's what's up!" And then she's like, "Hello?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, hello? Like, help! I fell down the stairs." She's like, "I was wondering what that was," and I was like, "I'm yelling,
Stop
help!"
texting
At the
me.
bottom
Go
of the
help me.
stairs. I'm yelling help at the bottom of the stairs,
Oh
and you're
man.
just like, what was that? Oh well. I was like, good to
Well,
know
see,
if I
that's the other
like
thing
fell
too.
down the stairs and was like dead, you would just be like, well, oh
I
well.
think we
Oh
both
look, and
react
she's
because,
watching.
but I think we both react differently because our daughter's at the age where if we hear a sound like that,
Oh
she
no.
might have done something crazy.
Yeah.
She's at that age where your son's 3 now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Happy birthday to the
Three on
little.
Monday.
So,
Last
oh,
Monday.
3 on Monday. Okay,
No,
I thought
last
he
Monday.
just turned.
Last Monday.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Fucking dude, that's a fun age. He's gonna start like really having opinions and shit soon. It's gonna be crazy.
My
But my
Crystal
daughter's
was just
6.
watching me tell that story too, so
Mm-mm-mm.
and now she's laughing in the chat. Yay.
Well,
Laughing at me dying.
my daughter's 6, and you're at the age now at the cusp, like around 4 is when they start really. Oh, and if they have like a real investigative personality,
Mhm.
when they start really fucking shit up. And now my daughter rarely fucks shit up, but when she does, it's epic. It's beyond fucking. It's one of those things where your comprehension is like floored, and you need like a minute to assess. Where it's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? What? Wait, what? What? Like where your level of like, huh? Like you don't understand. Like it doesn't compute for a minute, and then
Mhm.
when you ask them, like, what did you do? And then they'll be like, oh well, so I was.
They have a
Your feet-
train of logic.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's so interesting. It's so interesting, and it's like one of those things where it's like, well, we were gonna do our nail polish, but I know I'm not allowed to do nail polish, so unless mommy's doing the nail polish, so me and Savannah decided instead of to use nail polish, we went and got in the garage and got paint, and but it's not nail because it's not nail polish. We're not allowed, but we're allowed to paint because you
So I
let me
use
paint
paint
by
as nail
myself.
polish. Yeah.
So I got my paint, and we painted, and now they just have like Smurf hands or whatever the fuck, like, and it's like, she's not wrong.
No,
like
yeah.
I can't punish
Yeah.
great logic. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
She
I try
found
and
the
actually go
logic,
like,
Luke.
well, I'll tell her like, well, you're not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, but let's discuss why we can't do this. Like fucking and like break down. And that's the thing you start to learn too. Like, our generation got taught about in really broad strokes. I see that in a lot of our peers. People who had to like figure out a lot of shit on their own, so their like opinions and views are like, really cemented in it. Whereas like someone like your son or like my daughter has parents who like recognize that and fucking are like, okay, I'm gonna make sure this motherfucker has the tools
Yeah.
to like do what's necessary and to assess things in a way that I didn't have the capacity to do until I was like fucking 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I watch my daughter create a train of logic now at 6 years old that me at 24 would have been hard pressed to fucking develop on my own without the aid of a psychedelic.
Like figuring things out. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because you
Very
give her
interesting.
the environment where like she can thrive, like that behavior and that thought process can thrive, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like when we were doing the Picanha video, right? And your son was like having a blast around us. Even when a kid is not super responsive to like talking to them like an adult, I insist. We had our friends over who have like a 1-year-old, super cute kid. She's got the chubbiest little cheeks. Her mom's Cuban and her dad's Irish, so the kid looks like a little red-headed doll. She's like fucking adorable. And I just like I love talking to a baby that can't talk yet about adult shit. Not like adult, like improper, like adult, like I'm like, yeah, you know, what we're going to see in your lifetime, kid, is the paradigm of the education structure change because, okay, all the information that you can get in the university you can find online on your own, so you can actually develop the same level of knowledge without the accolades necessary. And I'm talking, and her dad is like cracking up. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. And I was like, well, we're talking about like the change in the structure of education. You got guys like Jordan Peterson who are giving lectures in online courses. You can take master classes now for less than $100. And
have you?
Well, I'm telling this to his kid, and he's like cracking up. He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, but that's how I talked to my kid since she was a fucking infant. Yeah. So I'd be like watching something on the news, and I'd be like, so you believe these crazy like people? Like they're trying to make us pay for that, and it's like. Her vocabulary and her conversational intellect is so high now. Like her teachers are like, yeah, having a conversation with Annabelle is like having a conversation with a person, like another human. Whereas like with some kids, it's like I like Paw Patrol and I like this and I like that. Where they're like my daughter's age and they're still talking like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like my brother talks to my niece like I do with my daughter, and you can see her level of understanding is just at a different pace. It's running at a different clip. It's so cool to see that shit. I don't know. I'm so tangential tonight.
That's because we're back for the first time.
We got so much to chit chat about.
So it's funny you were talking about that. Remember how we were talking earlier, and I sent you that Doctor Who clip?
Yes.
So Doctor Who.
My brother Mario is a Doctor Who fan, I believe. If he's watching,
he's watching.
He's the only person that
talks to babies and understands and talks back and forth with them.
Yo, and can I say I kind of feel like I do too?
It's hilarious. Like James Gordon or Corden or whatever is on an episode and he's got a baby or whatever, and he's like, I don't know how to talk to him and all this stuff, and he's like, well, lucky for you, I understand what he's saying. And he's like, what's that? That's not your name? Okay, so he doesn't want to be called George or whatever. He's like, well, what does he call himself? He's like, he calls himself, what is it? It's like a terrible name. It's like Stormageddon. Yeah, Dark Lord of All. Yeah. Also known as Alfie, yeah. Your brother was right on top of it. Yeah.
See, I told you, my brother was my conduit. My conduit to all things sci-fi.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the only thing I ever got into as a little kid was Star Wars, because my dad used to compensate affection for possessions. Mm-hmm. So when I was little, before he had his second family, when he was like a single guy, he didn't know what the fuck to do with me. And there was a cartoon about Ewoks when I was like a jit, late 80s, whatever. And Ewoks on Endor fighting these fucking green guys. And my dad was like, he likes that? Boom, here's all the toys of it. Fucking don't talk to me. Here's animal crackers, Ewok toys, an AT-AT. And so that was the only sci-fi shit I knew. But then later on in my 20s was when my brother
wants to do Dragon Con in Atlanta with you.
Fucking tell him I'll dress like Vader if he dresses like Ezra Bridger. Fucking
Bridger. He just needs the blue hair, honestly.
Fucking
your brother.
Bridger doesn't have blue hair. He's got black hair.
Ezra Bridger's got blue hair in the cartoon.
No, it's black hair. It's just tinted blue because they use those shades in fucking that animation. Fucking Thrawn's the blue one.
He said I'm in.
I'll
Thrawn's
be fat
got
Vader.
Blue skin.
Yeah, he got blue everything. He's a chiss. Yeah. He's a chiss. I took a Star Wars test online and it said I would be a chiss.
Sounds very racist the way you're saying it.
Well, no, I took the Star Wars test online.
No, I know. I'm just saying the way you're saying the species.
I thought that's how you say it. It's like 2 S's, so it's like
chiss.
Chiss.
The emphasis.
But Star Wars was the first thing I was ever comfortable dorking out on because it's so nostalgic and so reminiscent of childhood. But my brother showed me Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek. Star Trek I could take or leave, except Deep Space Nine. That's my shit.
Deep Space Nine was a
coolest captain.
Was a novella in space.
Coolest captain, funnest cast of characters. It was like the Cantina on Tatooine, but a series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a spaceport. It was cool as fuck. I learned about Ferengis.
Your brother said he's in.
But Mario showed me that shit.
Your brother said he's in to do the Ezra Bridger Obi-Wan.
That's it. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'll dress like fucking like Vader.
The other thing.
Or do you just want me to be Fat Kenobi? Fat Kenobi.
When you're in the middle of your
rant.
Campfire. When you're in the middle of your rant, it was jit is a South Florida word.
Oh yeah, jit's Florida slang. Yeah, for sure.
It's like South Florida slang. And that's the other thing people too, like, you know.
It's just like somebody young, as I know it, like them jits over there, like them young jits, like fucking. Oh, I mean my jit. I gotta pick up my jit. You know what I'm saying? Like I've heard that a million times. I gotta pick up my jit. From my baby mom. Fucking whatever. Like, those are two terms that get utilized beside each other quite often.
He said you can totally do the Kenobi voice too. So.
I can definitely do Kenobi. Hello, man.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. I'll look like a bounty hunter that ate Ewan McGregor.
Did you know that one of the guys from the first Star Wars movie that's in one of the X-wings is Ewan McGregor's uncle in real life?
Oh, that's cool. Did you know that his brother is a Royal Air Force pilot and his fucking call sign is OB2?
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that dope? Isn't that dope? Cool. I can dork out. There's
his
3 or 4
family,
things I can dork out on, and Star Wars is one of those shits.
Sounds like his family like leaned real hard in Star Wars then. Like,
well, it made him fucking a huge career, made him millions of dollars. It's about to make him more.
Yeah, because he's gonna have the
that series looks like it's gonna be fun as shit. I'm excited for that. Look, dude, the Jon Favreau and fucking Dave Filoni Star Wars shit is off the fucking chain, bro. And you know what? And I didn't even hate the new trilogy.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it because my daughter liked it, so that made me enjoy it. And frankly, I would have never gotten into the animated shit if not for my kid and fucking the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because I liked Star Wars. I liked the movies. I liked the, whatever. I enjoyed them all. But I hadn't caught up on them. I'd just been busy life, whatever. I hadn't seen Rogue One. I hadn't seen Solo. And fucking, we were just home. We're just fucking home.
Yeah.
We hiked every fucking hill in this town. We hiked every mountain an hour away. So it's like, we're home. What are we going to do? And then we got into Clone Wars, and then we got into Rebels, and Rebels is like the shit. And Clone Wars was super dope.
So good,
dude. Great writing, great storytelling. It was like a graphic novel. It felt like.
I like how it started as a oh wait, we have a subscriber request.
Oh shit!
For you to do the All in the Family theme song.
Oh Jesus Christ! Who is that?
Lana Poles.
That's my sister.
Ah. There you go. You have to.
Maybe before the end of the show. Maybe before the end of the show.
Okay. But like Star Wars Rebels, I like how it started.
That's really hard on my voice.
Yeah.
But I got a glass of water here, but.
I like how that started out because it was a Disney XD show, and it started off like a fucking Disney show, like like a regular Disney show, and then it got real heavy.
It developed real awesome.
Quick though.
Man, there was even some episodes I couldn't watch with my kid, like some of the Sith Temple shit and the Darth Maul shit. It was like dark. That scene where Maul and Kenobi meet in the desert. Spoiler alerts for anybody who hasn't seen Rebels, and you should. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Kills
5.
Him twice.
Yeah. Well, he fucking. Yeah. First of all, the way he comes back in Clone Wars is super dope and weird and interesting. Like they just went all out, which is cool.
Spider-Man.
And it's one of those things too, where it's like, oh yeah, he is an alien. How the fuck do we know what his biology is? You can cut worm in half, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But fucking so. He comes back. He's an interesting character. There's the Siege of Mandalore storyline. That whole arc is really cool.
Which is really good, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's like one of my favorite story arcs in Clone Wars. It's like shows the depth of the Kenobi character, losing the person he loved and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But then you go into Rebels, and you have that different Darth Maul. He's like older. He's like craftier. He's not relying on prowess physically as much. He's like he reminds me of like Bernard Hopkins in the latter half of his career, where it's like he's still a badass boxer, but he's like a little more crafty with his techniques, and he's not worried about trying to knock you out or knock you down. He's trying to drag you out. But those storylines were so good and fucking rich, and they really have like that Star Wars spirit of like adventure and fun. And you know what? Like I said, the sequel trilogy was cool. It was fine. I didn't like what they did with Luke Skywalker. I thought Finn could have been cooler. Yeah. And I thought what I found out about that was really shitty. Was it said that like basically he was gonna have a bigger role after the first movie, but that the Chinese market wasn't into having a black hero, so they like dialed him back and upped the other chick. Fucking
China, overlord.
Yeah. Dude, that's what that was like, and I like that was one of those things where you're like, really though, and then you look into it, and you're like, man, Boyega got fucked.
Yeah,
like he really did. He was supposed to be like the lead alongside the Rey character, and they were supposed to have like a dual ascendance. It was supposed to be the opposite of like how Leia got left behind in the Jedi studies shit. It was supposed to be like the kind of that's what the books were from what I read, and so like. Anyway, I could dork out on that shit, stand-up comedy or MMA.
Well, what I don't like is that they pitched it to him, like, white people didn't want him. But, like, it was really, like you said, the Chinese people. What I have to give him credit for is, like, he's like, oh, I thought it was, like, America, like, didn't want me. And it's like,
no, dude, he was the coolest potential character.
But, like, everybody loved him outside of China.
They should bring him back
bad luck
for something down the line and make him fucking do something dope.
Yeah.
That character still has so much potential. And he's a great actor, that kid. He played that guy so well.
And here's my problem. I think whoever was writing Rebels should have got the
Filoni and Jon Favreau should write everything for Star Wars until they die.
Yeah, they should have done the last three, because you like what I liked about that is the most badass Jedi in like the film and TV and all like the actual stuff that's not in the books, right? Is Ahsoka, and it's a girl.
Yeah, she's the shit.
And like she's the only one to take like hit Vader, like when he's in his prime, right?
Yeah, young Vader,
and not die to him, like.
Well, that's like.
I mean, the
storyline because it kind of seems like she does, and then Bridger finds that little thing where he.
I know it's like it's cheap, but she like takes she.
No, she's the only one. She knows the tricks, but it's one of those things where like her character is one of the coolest, one of the best developed.
Takes a point off of him though,
but
like,
she's
nobody touches
Obi-Wan took a lot of points off him. Took 3 to be specific.
No. I mean like when he's when he's
Vader.
Yeah, because like he's like crushing planets like
Boba Fett best like, in the books in the comic.
But
book
I mean
series.
like Jedi though like like. Because then, like, Obi-Wan's too old to, like, actually, like, fight him.
Well, and it's one of those things, too, where it's, like, it kind of seemed like Obi-Wan threw the fight to fuel the whole Luke thing. It was, like, very endemic of, like, a passing the torch moment and all that shit. And, especially since his body didn't...
Yeah, and Darth Vader's not even in his prime then. Like, he's...
No, he's old Vader then. Yeah,
and I'm talking, like, Ahsoka, like, slices into his helmet when he's like
when he's young and fresh
when he's young
like
and fresh
a
and
couple years into being Vader only when he's like in the middle of the Inquisitorius and shit
when he's like hunting down Jedi and fucking killing multiple without even like taking out his lightsaber and she like and she slices his helmet open like
but she was always like a special character like I said she's so well developed and
exactly
to see her come out in the Mandalorian was so fucking dope.
Wasn't just like here's a strong woman character.
And that's where they fucked up with those characters because Rey was a cool character. Finn was a cool character. All the characters,
didn't develop them.
They didn't give us a chance to like fall in love with them the same way that the other, even the prequel series.
Yeah.
People shit on it, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking time. The first one's youngish.
His kids.
The first one's my daughter's favorite of those 3. My favorite's probably like Clone Wars. I like that one a lot because all the fucking amazing, visual. But Revenge of the Sith is so gangster too. Like it's just
those
such a great,
heavy movies.
Fun,
and they're well
but they're
written.
Fun too. At the same time, it's so. But it's one of those things where they did Luke dirty. He should have been more of a gangster at the end. And
this is what I don't understand. What he is like. If you look at anybody like the super Star Wars nerds that are rating like power levels of Jedi, he's literally the
He's
top.
the one. He's the chosen one. Yeah,
he's literally the top. Because like in his prime, like Vader is like can take on anybody, right? Any amount of people, right?
But we got
prime.
off.
But
we got off what I wanted to say real quick though about Rebels before I lose it again because you know me. Fucking the Maul arc, where it ends with Obi-Wan in the desert. After Obi-Wan talks to Ezra Bridger and explains
Yeah.
to him that he's not where he needs to be, and he sends him back to his
I need
crew.
to know what happens to Ezra Bridger, by the way.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
But so that arc where Maul faces Kenobi for the last time in the desert, and Kenobi kills him, and Maul dies in his fucking arms, and says he will avenge us.
Yeah.
That is one of the most poetic fight scenes you'll ever see in a movie or any show or anything, and it gets shit on because it's animated, but it's like so beautifully done.
Dude, I don't know who these people are that you're saying that are shitting on Rebels, because literally it's the
I just see it all over the little pages of the Star Wars. I should invite you to all the Star Wars pages that I'm on.
Oh, but they're not. No, that's just people on Facebook. Like,
well, it's, yeah, dude, people it's all over literally there, Reddit too and shit.
Literally,
there's like Reddit pages that are dedicated to shitting on Rebels and to Clone Wars. There's like it's the stupidest battle ever. It's like, I like my shawarma with lamb. I like mine with mutton. Fuck you. And it's like, okay.
But Rebels is the only. It's the only one of any of the Star Wars movies or TV shows or anything that has 100% rating from critics and viewers.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just saying what I read all the time, where people are battling about it constantly, like assholes.
They can eat a dick. They're both.
But there's like a consistent weird consensus where it's like, oh, fucking this one's the better one, or what. It's like, it's dumb. I like them both a lot, so I don't get the.
I think Rebels is better for that, like how it ends right there.
Yeah, well, I don't know
with
because
that
the ending of fucking Clone Wars is super dope.
Well, because they just made it.
Well, yeah, but that scene where fucking Ahsoka is fucking in front of all the helmets on the fucking sitting up on the rifles, and then Vader's there years later. Filoni and fucking Favreau probably, or Filoni at least is heavy consultant.
Yeah, for real, because it's Ahsoka, and like the people that did her the best were those guys.
Filoni and Favreau, fuck yeah. That's why seeing her come through in The Mandalorian, there was another thing about, like, everybody was like, oh, Rosario Dawson's too old. It's
no, I don't care.
She was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dude, anybody who complains about some shit like that just is such a cunt.
An idiot,
They really should get their genitals either lopped off or stitched up, whatever the fuck.
Here's the whole thing with that, too, is, like, everybody that voiced their character in Rebels played themselves in The Mandalorian.
A lot of them did.
Except for her. Except for her.
But the girl who did play her in Rebels
said yes.
Gave the sign-off, yes. And she's also voiced some other shit in it, I want to say.
Who? Rosario
the girl who played Ahsoka voiced some other shit in Mandalorian.
Oh, I don't know.
The girl who voiced Ahsoka, I think she did some voice work
in the last Star Wars movie.
No, but I think she did some voice work for Mandalorian as well.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say.
I don't know.
And
also,
the other thing, here's the other thing, though. Yeah. Here's the other thing. This is really important. George Lucas was not a consultant on those last 3 movies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he was a consultant on all the other things we're talking about here. He was a consultant on The Mandalorian, consultant on Rebels. So it's like you're saying, if you want to become a jiu-jitsu guy, and they're like, oh, do you want to talk to Helio Gracie's ghost and Carlos Gracie's ghost? They'll fucking force ghost appear and train you like Yoda and shit. And you go like, no, I'm cool. We're going to just let this guy who did the new Star Trek do it or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Like, that's great, man, but, like, that's the guy who made this shit. What the fuck?
It literally came from his head.
You have an Italian restaurant, and they're like, hey, what's his name? Starts with an M. The guy who brought pasta from China. Fucking, Magellan? Fucking whoever the fuck. Yeah, fucking, hey, the guy who took pasta to Italy and made it what the fuck it is, like, that guy who developed that whole thing, like, you want to talk to him? Because you got an Italian restaurant, you're like, nah, you know what? I read the back of the fucking Stouffer's thing, so I know what they put in it. Fuck you, like you got to have the guy. That's the guy who made this shit. I don't understand not wanting him.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I lost my train of thought.
Well, I think we've exhausted that one.
That could be a whole nother podcast, just nerding out on
Star Wars. Dorking out on Star Wars hard, and then I could do that again with MMA. I could do that with stand-up comedy, like.
So, also one thing I wanted to talk to you about. So, it's not, I don't know if this is, but our #1 video.
Is that Michael Morrison meth mouth dick?
No. That's our #1 search result. Because like.
It's got a lot of views, doesn't it?
Because Zoomers and, well, I mean, like, it's got hits and, like, they watch it for a second, but the thing that people watch the longest is that ISIS reaction video and
Oh yeah.
most comments are on that.
Oh wow. I
Um,
never look at that stuff.
and they're like recent too, like a couple days ago,
Cool.
like, and people like telling you other things to watch, like that Mastodon video that we were
Well,
gonna
that makes
do.
me feel happy. They liked my
Yeah,
reaction.
we got subs from that.
That's
That's
cool,
pretty
man.
cool. Yeah.
That's definitely cool. We should
Uh,
definitely go do that again when I'm back in FL.
yeah. What else is there to
So
talk? We missed a
let's
lot.
talk Pandy. Let's talk Pandy.
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 Oh, pandemic. Oh.
Fucking well. What do you think now that Biden's in office? Everything's going to be fine now, right? Like, are we? When do you think that's going to be the general consensus? When do you think it's going to be like, okay, like we can dial it back. You can go see your grandma.
I don't know. They're pushing this vaccine real hard, and no medical professional I know wants to take
Super hard.
these two that are out right now, and they'd rather wait for the single dose one from Johnson
I
and
don't
Johnson.
mind taking vaccines. My daughter's been vaccinated. I've been vaccinated. My wife, all that. But my wife has to travel for work a lot of the time, so she's been internationally, so she's had those kind of vaccinations as well. I'm just not going to take the beach. You know what I mean? I'll go to war.
Yeah.
I just don't want to take the beach. Like I don't want to run
Tom
against
said,
the machine guns
remember,
myself.
Before
What's that?
remember we were talking to Tom. I think during after Tom eats it.
Yeah, Tom did the trials or whatever.
Yeah, but that was like 6
Months
months ago that he did that, which means they've been just testing on the. And I talked to somebody else that was a vet and another person that was in the army, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've been getting it since like May," and I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah, some people come back, some people don't, and when somebody doesn't come back, we all have to go get a new shot," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, some of you guys are gonna die," and I was like.
Well, but it's like anything else, right?
Okay,
That's the thing.
That's
the problem I have with it. It's like, dude, I don't want anybody that I love to be affected by this. But it's like, also, I don't want to like fucking live like this for too much longer, man. I feel fortunate that I'm the kind of person where it's like, all right, well, I'll just take my kid to the woods and we'll walk around and look at some deer and shit and some coyotes and shit and walk up. And I'm glad my wife's the type who's like, take her and hey, I'll come every now and then too, like because
listen,
you lose your mind.
I don't know.
I feel bad. A lot of people I think are getting nutty because of this shit.
And I don't know the whole like. It doesn't seem to me.
Like the balance of mental health with physical health has to exist.
Well, I'm just talking about like the pandemic in general right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says like the people with like all the markers like me, right? Like you should go to the hospital. Well, it's like if you have any one of these things, you should go to the hospital if you get it. And I had it, and it's like if you have asthma or had asthma, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and I have all of those things, and I got it, and I just couldn't taste for a little bit. My friend, she's like recovering from successful like cancer treatments with radiation and everything, and she was like, I can't get, and she's a teacher, and she's like, I can't get it, I can't like go to school or whatever, right? And I'm like, yeah, like legit, you probably shouldn't. She got it, and she was like vlogging it, not vlog, like blogging it on Facebook, and she's like, yeah, same as me, just couldn't taste for a couple days. That was it. So
that's the weirdest thing about it too, right? It's always like everybody's got these different experiences.
The people I've seen getting it and having like adverse reactions are obviously old people, right? Elderly, and even then, like like people that are over 100.
The scary thing is every now and then you get.
From it.
Oh yeah, well, I know a few people peripherally who like they have parents and stuff who have contracted it and then gotten better and are fine now and stuff. Yeah. But then there's also like you hear about like a 20-year-old athlete just dropping from it too. So you just don't know what there's going on.
So the healthy people having adverse reactions are the outliers, but the people that
I'm not saying they're not. But when you hear that shit anecdotally, it feeds the fear that's pervasive right now. And here's the other thing, man. We've shown over the past 10 years even, we are fucking so prone to hysteria now culturally in this country. We fucking feign outrage. We have actual outrage. It's become recreational.
That was another thing I was going to talk about with the Wall Street thing. Like, as soon as it started gaining traction and like some politicians were like, yeah, we should do something about these guys and let these people have their money. everybody started doing the identity politics shit again. Like AOC
That
even
happens.
switched from supporting that to going to, of course, I'm not going to support people that um, had me almost raped or whatever. And
What does
she's
that
like
mean?
she's so off the reservation. She's referring to when the Capitol was sieged. She's like they were going to rape
So
me.
that's
And
the
it's
other
like
thing. That's
really?
the other
Were
thing.
they?
Like the Capitol siege people, the Portland Chaz, whatever rioters, all these like people who want to have this revolutionary action. Like, where the fuck are you now? Why hasn't anybody stormed one of these buildings with one of these hedge funds in it? And I'm not trying to like
Yeah.
incite shit, but like
I
if you're
am.
gonna walk into the Capitol building and do fuck all,
So
really. Like you didn't do shit.
that was the
All you
other
did was,
thing
well,
too.
and
Like
here's the other thing too, though. They did do something. They exposed. Where's our defense budget?
yeah, yeah.
There's billions of dollars. What the fuck are you defending if not that? Like, what are you?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here?
So
They shot one broad,
Yeah.
one dopey broad who decided she was a fucking superhero, tried to jump through the window, thought she was Scarlett Johansson in the Avengers. Fucking.
So
Let
Mario.
me tell you something.
Mario
I don't
said
feel
something-
sympathy. I don't feel sympathy
yeah.
for those kids that got shot from that 17-year-old. I don't feel
Yeah.
sympathy for this lady who jumped in that fucking window and tried to fucking climb in the fucking Capitol building and got capped. I don't feel sympathy
Yeah.
for the guy, the meme of the guy fucking falling off the fucking rail.
That was
fucking.
hilarious.
It's like,
yeah.
buddy, you're fucking fat, man.
No,
Find the steps.
Did you see?
What
Did you
are you
see the
doing?
guys? Did you see the guy trying to climb the wall, and he fell off?
That's
when
the
he
one
was
I'm
at the
talking
top?
about.
You know, no,
and
the thing is, like
the meme was great. The video.
Listen,
he
he was kind of fat. You can't even say that you're fat. Listen, you can't even say that you're fat thing because
But
the guy.
unathletic.
No. The guy that was trying to help him up was like 2 times his size fat. It's like that guy made it up the wall.
Right.
Like he's literally looking at a guy
there's-
that's much fatter than him, and he's just like,
There are
oh.
there are levels of athleticism, regardless of levels of
I
fatness.
guess, dude.
You see those guys every now and then. They look like a barrel, and then you
Yeah,
like work with
but
them at
I
something. It's
don't-
like, oh, this guy's a fucking animal.
But it wasn't. It was like a meme, like kid
Yeah.
that sits in
Well,
a fucking
dude,
desk chair all day.
All
like,
I know is like I don't feel
And the-
sympathy for those people
and
because
the skinnier fat kid.
you put yourself in that place. You're there.
Yeah.
You're fucking doing that shit. You know there's potential consequences to that. If
Yeah.
you rush somebody who has a fucking AR, they might pop your ass.
Yeah, they
If
might
you try
shoot a
and
hole in
climb in
your
the
arm.
Capitol
Yeah.
building, they might fucking
shoot you.
pop your ass.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that simple. If
Yeah.
you just start punching a cop, he might pop your ass. Like, there are certain
Yeah.
things that are fucking going to happen if you do certain things. And I'm just losing. Like, it's all ridiculous. Daniil posted something the other day that
That's
delighted me. The fucking
The KFC?
Kentucky Fried Chicken Black Power Fist chicken leg.
I wanted KFC wings so
It's
bad after
beyond
that.
parody, bro.
Yes.
It's beyond parody. We have gone to a place of complete and utter ridiculousness, and you can't dial it back. It's like if you start fingering your ass every time you masturbate, eventually you're going to need to do that to get off. If you develop it that way, if you are always looking at one kind of porn or always looking at porn, you're going to need to look at porn. You're going to condition yourself. We can't go back. What's the thing? Like, you can't unfreak. Once you get to a certain point of freakiness, you can't dial it
it's
back
just
and be like, hey, can we
every-
just look into each other's eyes and hold each other?
What if you
can't,
just
like-
hit the random button on the
But that's what I'm saying.
on
We're at
the porn website, and whatever pops up, you're
we'll
like,
just go
I'm
for
good.
it.
I'm
I'm just
good
going to
with
dive
this.
in.
I don't
But that's
care.
where we're at. We've indulged so deeply in everything, in every form of excess in American life. We're like such a new Roman fucking Babylonian Caligula fucking shit that we don't even realize when we're being completely ridiculous
Yeah.
and it's beyond parody. A fucking fried chicken black power fist? How the fuck did that get past anybody? It's crazy.
I'm delighted that it happened, and
Well,
I'm
here's the other
happy that
thing.
people are mad at it because
We
it
talked
is
about
hilarious.
this. We talked about this during the protests after the George Floyd murder. We talked about this through all the civil unrest during the Trump administration. We talked about this with all the rioting, Chaz, all that stuff. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's good that they stormed the Capitol. I think it's good that they rioted in Portland. I think it's good that they burned down a bunch of California. I think it's good that people are starting to realize that downtown LA is a complete fucking tent city. I think it's good that we're seeing these things. I think it's good that Donald Trump is a piece of shit. I think that it's good that Joe Biden is inept. I think it's good all this shit's going on Wall Street because we need to be slapped awake. We need to be shaken the fuck up. It's not blue and red, man. It's not blue and red. It doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah, that goes back to the that Doctor Who.
You want to talk about
clip.
Binaries that don't fucking exist?
Well, that Doctor Who clip that I sent you, that I posted on Facebook, it literally like is. It people like you need to hear that in the context of.
It's the sweaty forehead button meme.
Yeah.
It's like a. It's like
literally is that
a cinematic version of that.
There's literally that in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's literally a button to be pushed.
So it's like, man, we are far past our prime as a champion. That's what I'll say. And we need to go back and reassess and maybe change weight classes because we're fucking not hitting the same as we used to, because as Americans now, we're so divided and we've allowed they to divide we. Mm-hmm. It's really sad. It's really disgusting.
And I think it's been divided so much that like when somebody like you
the
or I...
vitriol is so sad.
Yeah. When somebody like you or I just tries to come with the point of view that like it's not you versus your neighbor.
Yeah, and just try and play a little devil's advocate and share some perspective.
Yeah. Just like with Jordan Peterson gets labeled like an extreme alt-right dude, and he's literally like a card-carrying liberal. Like,
sure.
And he's just, like you said, playing the devil's advocate. People are like, you see, he loves Nazis. And he's like, nope, I never said that.
I have, like, pulled back from engagement and that kind of bullshit so hard that literally, like, a week ago, somebody who's, like, a very nice Facebook friend I've always had really friendly interactions with posted a thing. And I posted, like, not a counterpoint, but, like a thought within it, and it was about, like, you know, not feeling bad if not letting your parents make you feel bad about housing you and feeding you because it's like something that they owe you for bringing you into the world. And I was just saying, like, well, culturally, like, that's, you know, I don't know what the legality, but culturally that's fucking, it's gray, because in some cultures that's not how people feel, whatever. The person who made the post didn't say anything to me bad. We always, like, have really pleasant interactions. Somebody else who's, like, another mutual friend or whatever, like, jumped all over my shit and was like posting links about the laws, you're legally obliged to do this for the kids and shit. And I was like, listen, if you can't read like everything I said, you like picked one line of what I said and are like freaking out about it.
Yeah.
If you can't read the whole thought out and like see what I'm trying to say, then like I don't even want to talk with you about it because I'm not trying to argue with you. I was like, even one of my, it was like, who's arguing? And then it was like, she was like, oh, you bro, you said this, and it's like, listen, you're not clearly you're not understanding what I'm saying, so I'm not gonna. I don't care. I don't know you well enough to give a fuck. And then a couple other people jumped in and said some other shit to me, and I didn't say nothing. It was so freeing.
What I like about... I
don't fucking care about what any of these people think. And the person who made the post, who I enjoy like chit-chatting with or whatever online, and meme sharing, whatever you want to call it, if they said something, I would have further expressed myself and tried to like clarify. But these people weren't trying to have a conversation with me. Yeah. The chick came in like spoiling for a fight. And I've seen her before. I know her peripherally, like friend of friends. I think we're friends on Facebook as well. But it's like, I don't know you like that to be like arguing with you. I don't give a fuck what you think. We could totally have a conversation, but you're not trying to have a conversation with me. You're like jumping on my shit about something dumb, like about a meme.
Yeah, my favorite line when those people try to pile on, like, who is this fucking guy? I love that.
Oh, those are great.
I love that.
Somebody posted, another person that I always have pleasant interaction with was like WTF and like tagged my name, and I was like, I was going to say something to them, but then I was like, man, I don't care. Like, I don't know them. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then the other person was like, oh, you just said a lot of words to say, you know, that you don't want to say you're wrong. And it's like I don't want to have to explain. It's going to sound like mean or at least, but if you can't understand like plain fucking words written out, like, I can't fucking help you. And I'm not going to be able to express it to you through the text medium clearly because you know me too. Like, I text, like, I'm very concise in what I'm trying to say. It's very literal. It's very direct. Like, and the whole thing at the end of what I said was basically like, you know, culturally and internationally, this shit becomes a gray area because in some cultures, people don't feel like your parents owe you. It's like the other way around. Like, that's what I was trying to get at. And then this chick freaked out. So it was one of those things where it's like, wow, you got a nerve struck or whatever. So
it's like when I purposely comment the worst thing I can say on David Salary's
what you love to fucking.
I love David Salary's friends. I love them. They are they are like.
You could say that about anybody in our friend group, man. They all have a cluster of knee-jerk.
They're worse than that because
friends.
they're a part of like the nerd group, so they think they're superior, and because they've got this, like other people, like we were talking about before we got on the air, they just feel like they're like they what is it, a convenient white knight, conveniently SJW, right?
The other thing too, man,
and these
is
guys,
there's a lot of people who really just they cannot develop their own idea, and they just will dive on.
And these guys are worse because these guys dive deep into it, right? They go and give me articles and studies and stuff, and then and they get real mad when the response I give them is not like a redneck, well, fuck you. It's just I call them a cunt, but I get them to react even more, and I love that, and that's one of the few places I can still.
I actually
do that.
like it if somebody gives me a study and this person who's arguing with me, like I said, I wasn't arguing with them, like they were arguing with me, like she posted some shit that was like statutes and laws and shit. I read it and she was right, like there's legal obligations, but there's also people that put their kids in for adoptions, and all I was saying was like culturally. It varies. You can't just blanket anything. And I was literally just trying to open up a cool conversation with a person who posted
him.
It was another girl who I don't really know her, but she's like a smart person, and I always enjoy interactions conversationally with her online. And it's literally like usually like I put a thing, they put a thing, and it's like, oh wow, perspectives. You know what I mean? Sharing perspective. It's so gross when somebody just is spoiling for one and they come in and they want to just like, it's like, oh man, I like to be nice. I really like, you know what I mean? Like, it's better. It's
I like
funner,
to be, I like to be mean, so.
I have a mean streak. That's what I like to be mean. Great? I don't like to engage that because I have that really in there. So,
here's the great thing about commenting on David Salary's post is that.
We should have him back on soon.
Is that, and I want to specifically talk about this with him because it's one of the best things ever. Like, literally, the same people will engage with me, and then the same people will be like, David Salary, who the fuck is this guy? And then David Salary doesn't interact on my comment thread at all until a bunch of people tag him on his own thread, and they're like, who is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Where the fuck does this guy live? And he's just like, first of all, I have told you all many times that he just takes pleasure in your terrible emotional
I've seen
response.
These posts many times.
Yeah.
There's even been times where I've wanted to jump in and be like, yo, don't say that shit to my friend. Like, if you want to get crazy, like, talk to somebody like me. But they don't mean it. Like,
but the thing is, like, they know me if they saw me, and they think that I'm somebody different.
Sure.
And I know these guys. Like, when I was going to do something questionable in a violent way.
Yeah. Don't tell that story again online.
They were all there. All these people that talk shit to me.
No, I
and
remember
they were
this,
just like
this conversation that we had with David when he was on was such a good conversation. We didn't get to touch on a lot of the other stuff that we wanted to because that little world is like kind of captivating and enthralling in its own weird microcosm of everything. It's its own universe. It's its own little universe. It's very interesting to me.
It's like compared to you, I might as well be like a block of butter, and you're like a piece of steel. Like in real world, like far as like
buttery.
It's like fighting. No, like even like now, right?
Yeah, combat sport.
But like me compared to them, it's like I'm like a fucking piece of diamond, and they're like, I don't know what's softer than butter, but it's that.
Yeah. They're fucking lardo.
Yeah, I don't know what's softer than that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, it's all relative. To like my brother Mario. Among my brothers, he's not like the tough guy. You know what I mean? I got one brother who's in corrections. I got one brother who was a street guy for a long time.
I bet he will fuck every single one of his friends up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my brother Mario will defend himself. He's not a pussy either. But to me, he's like the one we have to protect. You know what I mean? Because he's the youngest of the boys too, and the smallest physically. Like so. But and then you're the one who awakened to that point to me where it's like, yeah, to you maybe, but like to his friend group, he's like,
oh yeah,
he's a dude. Like, and it's like, oh yeah, that's true. And it made me really proud. Proud because it's like, oh no, Mario is fucking, he's grown into a man. He used to be kind of a man boy, and he's really grown into himself.
He says, "I is small, but I will cut a bitch." That's what I'm saying.
He learned from the cuttiest. He learned from the best.
That's what I'm
There was
saying,
a couple
man.
times where I went to pick him up at school and kids were fucking with him, and it was like, bro, do you like tell me now, Mario, I will fuck this kid up, and he's just like, no, like I know what you'll do. I know what you've done to me just playing around.
Let me do
let's
it.
Go.
You'll go
Drive
too
me home,
far.
please, in your shitty serial killer Chevy Corsica.
You'll go.
I had a
too
Chevy
far.
Corsica that I could leave completely unlocked with windows open, nobody would touch it, because the minute you walked up to you, you'd be like, oh, somebody murders people. That's this car belongs to them. This car belongs to a fucking murderer. Okay. I parked it in front of my dad's house for a couple of months after my mom passed away and I was living there.
Yeah.
And I just remember my stepmother being like so elated when I was so broke that I sold it for scrap, because she was like, it's horrible. It was like this big maroon boxy Chevy Corsica, 1988 Chevy Corsica, and I had treated it so poorly that the fucking thing sounded horrible. I had never changed the oil. It was a miracle that it ran.
Oh, no.
I remember driving it from West Palm Beach to Fort Lauderdale area where my pop lived, and fucking being like, A, super impressed that it got up to like the 70s at all. B, that it fucking held together like on the whole ride at that rate of speed. And then C, that it made it the whole fucking hour or so trip. And fucking that thing held together and then every now and then I'd be like driving home and it would just die. And I would just hope like I was close enough that I could coast on momentum like as long as I could to get to my side streets so that I could push it start it and not have to do it on a main drag. But fucking that car, and I would be in that car picking him up and be like, fucking, somebody's picking on him. That's the kid. All right, I'll hit him with the car right now. No.
Your sister laughed at the "you'll go too far" thing.
What's that?
Your sister laughed when I said "you'll go too far."
Yeah, I'm a glutton in general. Fucking food, whatever.
Your brother said that fucking car. ...
It was really scary. It was a really scary car. The door panel on the inside came off, and it was all the metal shit sticking out. But my seat was broken because I didn't have my own place, so I used to take my girlfriend in my seat, so my buddy John Snodgrass, the seat literally snapped off the track. It was just loose. It was just floating on its own. Yeah. Took a chain and chained it back down to the track. But it was like a fucking crazy, like wobbly seat.
It's a crazy ride.
Hold myself up on my fucking door and my wheel. And like, you're driving straight, you can kind of pull against your wheel.
Yeah.
And you maintain. And so I would hold myself up. So my fucking upper body I was yoked back then just from driving and fucking holding myself up. But there was no door panel, right? So I couldn't lean against my door. I had to be completely like upright, just using my arm, because it was just screws and like the window mechanism and all the fucking like grooves and shit from where everything snapped in the door jamb. And I was such a broke ass.
Piece of wood.
The piece of wood was my Mercury Cougar. That was my favorite car ever. I broke that seat also and fucking fixed it by just jamming a piece of wood behind it so that the mechanism wouldn't go back and just stay seated upright. Fucking with a 2x4.
Oh god. Well, see, that's the thing. Like,
I was hard on cars.
This is that was your sister that said the piece of wood. But like, like that's the thing. Like I haven't had too much of that, but like I at a point where like I was, like I had to go through stuff, and like you growing up like that, and like your brother like seeing that stuff too, and like going through stuff with you, like, and these kids that are like fucking super nerdy SJWs. That's like, oh, that's cool. Like you've grown up in the same like 6-bedroom house your whole life.
But you want to talk about privilege, right? Like to worry about that shit is a privilege. Like people that I know who come from hard neighborhoods, they're worried about like paying bills and fucking eating and making sure their kids eat and worried about crime, like real crime. Like if you come up in a hard spot, like So it's one of those things where it's like when you see these people talking about certain things on these college campuses, look up what it costs to go to one of these fucking colleges and see what these people who are complaining about, because I believe there's all kinds of injustice, racial, otherwise, gender bias that exists. It does.
This is like,
it's maybe not as crazy as people say in some places, but it does exist. I've seen it. I grew up in the fucking South. Like it's there, but the people who are under it, their voice gets fucking fucked up by all these people who have so much and muddle that message with all this intersectional shit where it's like
when we had Doug on.
Well, it's like black people deserve to have their own shit, their own voice. Gay people deserve to have their own shit, their own voice. If you're Latino, if you're a fucking Guinea, like my fucking family, if you're fucking whatever you are, if you're fucking like you, fucking Pinoy Boy Toy, you should be allowed to have your pride. I don't get why it all has to be muddled into this thing where everybody has to agree to this one idea. These cultures are going to have things that diverge and intersect alike. And that's what we should like investigate and learn about each other. If we muddle everything into this one stupid umbrella, we lose all the cool flavors and like tapestries that exist. Like those things that like make everybody awesome, they start to fade away. That's why like whiteness to me is a lie. Blackness to me is a lie. Those are colors. Those aren't ethnicities. Those aren't cultures. If you're from Baltimore, that's a culture. If you're from fucking Chicago, that's a culture. Like those are places that have cultures. The race, the color, man, that's all bullshit. Yeah. That's where your parents fucked at.
Like, oh shit, I was so close to getting my train of thought.
Sorry, I'm so ranty tonight. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Shit. So, oh no, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's like when we had Doug on, remember? And we were comparing our, like, coming of age traumas, and you were like, is it like the same? And in unison, we were both like, no, it is definitely not the same. That's like when these fucking, I'm not being sexist here, and I hate that I have to say it. It's like the two hot girls in the, like, they're not hot. Like, they're just an average girl, but like the magic community girls have not seen, or guys have not seen like a a woman that doesn't look like a
there's
bridge
not a
troll,
proper
right?
point of reference.
Exactly right. Yeah, they haven't like interacted with a girl that's not like a bridge troll, you know.
Right.
And once again, it's like those girls have guys that like them too. But anyway, so like
no, there's a flavor for every taste.
Yeah, but so like those normal looking girls will come in to that group and feed them like the most like SJW bullshit, and like like social justice is a thing that is like it needs to be real, like, and it needs to be addressed, but like the way they poison these young men's minds to where like you can't have a difference of an opinion, you know?
Right.
Like it should, I agree with most of the things that they're saying, and I just would like to discuss them, but if you have to discuss them, you're not thinking in the right way. And like, so then that's when I like when those women get into the conversation and they start dropping all like the white male privilege shit, even though, you know, not white.
Right.
Like all the
Isn't that interesting too? Those folks like to decide.
Yeah, and they're all
if you
white.
are enough
they're
of your
white.
ethnicity to gain the benefit of being able to have an opinion about certain things.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the other thing too. I think people
they're
should
all
have their
white.
shit because, well, that's what I'm saying. I think people should.
Yeah.
I think people should just shut the fuck up. Like, that's the thing that bothers me too. Like, I've seen like, I'll call it out. I don't care. I don't care if it sounds sexist. It's white girl shit.
Yeah.
It's white girl,
it literally is,
like, saintism, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They have like the Nurse Nightingale syndrome where they want to fucking rescue everybody. I've seen so many people. I want to be like, yo, I'm Latino, bitch. I don't need you to speak for me or anybody that I know. Like, I know plenty of people who have their, like, talk about your shit. Talk about pumpkin lattes or what the fuck, whatever.
Yeah, here's the other crazy thing too is like, I'm just gonna start calling them what I call them on Facebook. Those dumb cunts will like. Yeah, those dumb cunts will just like be like.
My mother hated the word cunt, but she used to also call women cuntress. She reserved for certain women the term cuntress.
Yeah, like I think it's funny. It's a funny word, right? And
I think it's funny how it's like so common in other countries.
Yeah, yeah, and like
it's like Shakespeare and Chaucer.
Like the way Louis C.K. is like, it's like the man version is like dick. It's just you're just calling them genitals.
Right.
And the dick's not bad.
Does twat have the same thump as cunt?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is it just auditory?
It's
you know
auditory.
What I mean? Because cock sounds worse than dick.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. It's got to be auditory.
Or a dick. A dick is like a guy you could deal with every like
and
couple of years.
Is
a family get together.
You could deal with.
Cock is someone that's like fuck that
He's
guy.
A fucking cock.
Yeah. Like
your sister says she loves that word.
Cuntress was a fucking. I'd never heard it before my mom used it.
So
she would you catch a slap for cunt, but if some like lady was taking care of their
any
kids.
Other name?
I love how this is like my family fucking round table. It's basically dinner at my grandmother's house.
But like, so these cunts will like tag like the like the guys that fight or whatever, or
Yeah, the tough
take
guys in the little
karate.
squads.
Yeah,
Sure.
and the best thing is like they just tag. They're like, oh, I know that guy, and they're like, yo, go fuck him up, and they're like, no, we're cool, and I'm like, yeah, what's up, Dave? Bye. What's up? He's like, yeah, this guy's just fucking with you
Listen,
guys. Like
let me
the
tell you a
guys
secret.
that know,
The
like you
people who
know,
really want to fight, the people who really want to fight are imbalanced
can't.
people. Even people who
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
but even people who can't
yeah,
can fight, especially the people who can fight.
yeah,
They don't want to fucking fight, man. They know how bad you can get hurt.
yeah.
They see it in the gym all the time. You roll the wrong way, and two guys who are sparring, not really trying to hurt each other, somebody's
Yeah,
joint
gets
gets
hurt.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard to hurt your
I
body.
don't want to
And so when you have that
bite
experience, like,
anybody
you
ever
know,
again.
dude,
I don't want to have
I've
to bite
seen a
somebody.
motherfucker sink their teeth into somebody, and it ain't
Yeah.
pretty. Like, so
That's my only defense. Is I act weak, so they get in close, and then I take a bite out of you.
yeah,
And they're like, "This is not what." I'm like, "This is
No,
a
that's
fight. I'm trying
that's
to
a
not
horrifying.
lose.
Well, that's what I was saying too.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like, I was
I'm
talking
just
to
trying
somebody.
not lose."
I'm teaching my daughter some stuff lately too about self-defense, and like one of the first things I'm teaching her is a mean old nut kick, a fucking
Bobby
great
Hill?
up the middle nut kick. I don't know you, let go of my purse, fucking,
Yeah.
because
Bobby Hill School of Self-Defense. I am well versed in
Man,
that too. I got
ring that
I
bell,
got, dude. I
ring
got
that bell,
hard
baby
shins
girl.
too. Yeah,
Ring that. Listen, for me, I'm not gonna resort to that right away, but in a street
will.
fight, man. In a
Dude, yeah.
street fight, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how many
Yeah.
homies they got coming around the corner. You know if they're going to
Exactly.
pull a wrench out of their pocket. I'm going to take every. And that's the other thing too. I've had people tell me like, "Oh, you know, you're a tough guy, this, that, shit." It's like, man, I'm not tough. I'm tired. I'm getting old.
Yeah,
That's why if you run up on me, you might get a fucking pelvis full of hollow points.
yeah.
I got a shaky knee. I'm fucking. My cardio ain't what it used to be. Like, I'm not trying to have it. I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to get home and eat.
It's funny. Like one of the guys that I guess I was like standoffish with or whatever, because he like didn't know me really well, who like actually is like good at kickboxing that I didn't know till I became friends with him.
Right.
Like was just like we like got along on a few things like Facebook
Naturally,
people yelling,
organically.
and then he was like, hey, what do you think about this? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally down. That makes sense, especially the way you put it. And he's like, that's all I'm saying. And I'm like, that's all I'm saying. Friends. And then I was like, oh yeah, and then we have a lot in common. It's great. What I like too is like if he doesn't like me, I think maybe you've seen him on some of my posts. His name's Seth. Like he'll like call me out on shit. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like I take if I respect you
Because
and
it's
you,
a
like, criticize me,
conversation
yes.
and you're having a debate. You can have
And
a differing of view or an opposing idea and work through it. That's
and we can
the
see
difference
each other's
now.
point of view too. It's
Right,
like,
you can, or
he
at a
literally
minimum,
says,
see
like,
why you may have
yes,
a different one.
yeah, and he's like, and he always, and like the last thing was I was talking shit about that dead guy. He was like, I totally see your point 100%. Personally, I don't like to do this, and I was like, I totally understand. I usually am in the same school as you. However, this is my situation. Right. And he was like, okay, and like we were done. But then like his best friend, who I'm also friends with, was like, no, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, don't talk shit about the dead. And I was like, no, fuck that guy. He's like, it seems like you're just mad that he gave you bad service. And I was like, I didn't even go there. You know, like I just know, you know, the facts.
Yeah,
that's all.
I know what I know.
I know what I know. That's all, right? It was funny because like and then like Seth made like a meme that made fun of like me, and I was like, that's really good. Like it was a good meme.
Well, and that's the thing. You have to have a sense of humor about shit. That's the thing too, right? So many people are taking their point of view so seriously and it's so rigid that there can't be like any leeway or gap for understanding. But I think that's a really good note to start to close on because what are we, about 2 hours right now?
Yeah.
About 2? Fucking hour and 45, something like that. But what do you call I just want to say I'm glad that in our real friend circle, inside of our group and even outside of that circle as it broadens even, I'm so glad to see that so many people, whatever side of the ideas they lean to, they still are mentally like working through logic and having conversations. And I'm glad that the vocal majority or the vocal minority, to me, it seems like it's like weeding itself out at this point because it's like you can only cry wolf for so fucking long on either side.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. People are getting sick of that shit.
That's why like I made that post. It's like if you were like a anti-Trump guy for 4 years, if you thought Obama was a Muslim terrorist for 8 years, if you thought
and you're sitting on your fucking hands now.
If you thought Clinton was, you know, like a murderer and a sexual predator, and like I just went all the way back for as long as I've been alive, and I'm like, and now that there's
if you
like
thought Bush was a fucking CIA op,
and like if you thought Reagan was like Hitler too, like if
you thought Jimmy Carter was
things,
anything.
If you thought all those things and you were vocal about it, and now that there's like a real revolution happening and you're fucking silent,
sleeping
just fucking like kill yourself, because you're not even like, you're a part of the problem. You're not even.
I love how mad you got people on that one. The kill yourself. People can say kill yourself for a lot of shit until it's something that they don't want to hear about, and then it's all of a sudden offensive.
And you know the crazy thing is, like, people that disagree with me a lot were like, like they like message me, they're like, that's good, I like it, and I'm like, yeah, man, I don't care like who you hate, like this is about the people versus.
Well, that's the thing I like about you too. What you I think like to do a lot of the time is you'll throw a shot out to see who it is you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You're like assessing, is this person like a thinker at all, or are they going to ask me what I mean, or are they just going to fucking fly off the handle? But that's what we deal with in this world nowadays. Now, we had a request earlier, and I'm going to end it on that.
All right.
So I do have a doctor's appointment in the morning. So can you put something on your screen for me?
What do you want?
Could you put lyrics for me that I could see, like if I was looking at you, kind
of? Yeah.
Yeah. So could you put the lyrics to All in the Family theme song? I didn't hear you for a second.
Oh, well.
But you're back. You're back.
I'm back. That's because I was typing. Let's see if it'll let me share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes. Can you make it bigger?
Yes. Tell me when.
Okay. All right. Now scroll down just a little notch. Yep, right there.
Was that good?
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. Is my sister there? Is she commenting?
Well, that's the thing. I have to.
You have to move it to see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if she's there, she'll hear it. If not, it's on recording forever, so she can hear whenever.
Also, give me a few test loud notes so I can make
check.
Again. All right. Good.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played
songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made.
Those were the days.
And you knew who you wanted.
Girls were girls and men were men.
Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. Didn't have no welfare state.
Everybody pulled his weight.
Gee, our old last salary and great.
Those were the days.
Your brother said the Edith is better than the Archie.
I sing that to my sister with. Well, the Archie's actually like an amalgamation of my grandfather and Archie, but fucking the Edith was always strong. I got raised by mostly women. I appreciate Edith a lot. Edith Bunker was a true pioneer. How about that? And that's the note we can leave on. Gene Stapleton. Gene Stapleton was a legend.
Or yes. And your brother said epic. And whoever Florida Man Bear said gay.
Honestly, full circle, baby. Thank you, Florida Man Bear. Oh, shit.
All right, so.
Well, that's a great way to end it right there. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back next Thursday. Oh, wait. Yeah. I'm out of town one Thursday coming up, so I won't be. Okay. But we can even maybe backlog one, or maybe by then Mike will have edited the fucking sauce videos, the Chinese sausage video. Put that shit up.
I still got to do your other videos that came out before that.
Which one?
Did I? Oh, I wanted, when you're in town, I need to film some stuff so we can finish that one.
Okay.
The spaghetti sauce one.
Okay. The grandpa sauce?
Yeah. And then,
All right,
because
some
I'm gonna put them
voiceover
out in
shit.
order. Feel like
We
it's
can put them out
selfish.
whatever order.
I feel like it's selfish to put out my Chinese sausage one.
Put it out. Put it out. Put it out. Put it out. Yeah,
It's
we
not
listen.
good for you. You should never eat that.
Listen, we're never going to be claiming that anything we cook on our shows is good for us. Between my physique
Listen.
and your actual physical health, we have no right. We have no right to tell anybody that anything's healthy.
Everything that we've cooked combined is healthier than one of those links of sausages.
They tasted
I also
like
feel bad.
delicious plastic.
Yeah.
And they were super sweet and salty. And I'm pretty sure we took at least a month and a half off of our lives.
Yeah, yeah. And I've had
And I love
question
how
mark
you were like
whole packages of that.
Well, I love how you were like, hey, don't serve yourself a lot of this. Like,
don't.
You're like, eat the
One.
rice.
Maybe
and
one.
Don't go crazy because it's not good. You said it so many times, it's not good for you. It's not good for you.
You should not be eating this.
It was great.
Like the salt content alone in one is
So keep an eye out
your
for those
monthly
videos.
Salt intake.
We got a sauce video one of the last times I was in Florida.
Yep.
We were fucking around in the Airbnb, had a decent kitchen, so I threw together an old school all day, Sunday gravy, and my buddy here in the same kitchen threw together a sugar and sodium laced meal of Chinese sausage and rice, which was pretty awesome.
Florida man
and we had a
says,
guest
"Show me
of
the
Gene
sausage."
was with us. So Florida man bear's on fire. Fucking. So yeah, we should those videos will be coming out soon, and we're going to be filming a couple other food-oriented conversations coming up here in the coming month. So cannot wait to get back on the roll with our fun podcasts.
Yeah. This was like our most interactive and also people watching.
Again, it felt like dinner at my grandmother's house between my
good.
siblings chiming
It
in.
doesn't matter. We had
And Florida man bear. Thank you.
all right.